Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe SI Talk Vancouver Oktober 2016 Tour. Und ich bin wie fast jedes Mal bei Endeavour Silver. Bradford Cooke ist ja ein gern gesehener Gast, weil er auch extrem viel zum Markt erzählen hat und natürlich, nachdem wir jetzt ja in meiner Sichtweise in einem neuen Bull Market sind, bin gespannt, ob er ähnliche Sichtweise hat wie ich, ist er oder seine Company eine der Best Performance Company auch für die Zukunft, weil sie ein extrem hohes Beta zum Silberpreis haben. Ja, schauen wir mal, was so die letzten Monate gebracht haben. Brad, thank you for your time. It's really early in the morning, it's dark outside, so thank you for your time. Last time when we talked was in June. Since then, a lot of things I'm doing, and I say this in my German introduction. I believe we are now bull market, and it's going minimum, I think, for 2018, maybe longer. And your company is one with the highest beta compared to the silver price. So now we have really also the opportunity that we can make a lot of money. We do it in the last 6 months, 9 months. It was a great start. 2016 was really a great year so far. But over the last few months, we see a little bit correction. We have the election in the US, so a little bit fears outside. But coming first, before we talk about the market, what's happened in the last 4 or 5 months by the company?
Well, Joe, it's like a whole new world since earlier this year. As you recall, on June 1st, silver was still only $16 an ounce. And the move from June 1st to July 1st was a $5 move, almost. Mm-hmm. We saw both metals peak in August, and now we've had 2.5 months of correction. That correction usually arrives in June, July, so maybe 2-3 months late this year. And we've been using the correction as an opportunity to try and acquire more assets here at Endeavour. Mm-hmm. So in September, we announced the acquisition of our Parral project, which is located in Chihuahua, Mexico. It's similar to the El Compass project that we acquired in May in Zacatecas. In fact, it's almost a clone because you have here a famous historic silver mining district, a very large land package with an existing resource that we acquired from Silver Standard. And the reason why we like the Parral acquisition is threefold. First of all, it has fabulous exploration potential to find new ore bodies, both high-grade underground style of ore bodies and also lower-grade open pit style of ore bodies. Secondly, there was recent mining up until around 1990 on the La Colorada property in Parral, and there is an existing resource that we receive in the purchase of that property from Silver Standard, totaling about 32 million ounces of silver. So we're using this correction to acquire assets cheaply with a view to building out our development portfolio. In addition to the exploration potential, Parral actually has some near-term production potential. There's not one but 3 500-ton plants starving for feed within 10 kilometers drive of the resources located on our new property at Parral. Mm-hmm. So we feel that the outlook has changed from survival to growth this year. Endeavour has, I think, one of the strongest organic growth profiles in the silver sector. We have not 1, not 2, but 3 development projects in our pipeline, and we do expect to build 3 new mines in the next 3 years.
One question coming to mind. You think you buy the project cheap. Silver Standard thinks he sell it high, I guess. Or what is the different point of view? Has Silver Standard no profile in this area and say we are not interested, it's for us not a core project, we leave it. It's better when other people advance it. Or what was the reason you think for Silver Standard to sell it cheap to you?
I think it was very simply a difference in strategy. I mean, acquiring historic properties in famous districts and bringing the money and the expertise needed to unfold their full potential, that's what we do. And we like early cash flow, even if it's small, 500 tons per day, 1 million ounces a year. Early cash flow allows you to generate the cash to do the exploration to make new discoveries. And that's something that we do. It's not something that Silver Standard does. When they originally bought this property for $3 million in 2004, it was when they were still following their ounces in the ground strategy. They had no dreams of being a producing company.
That is true.
At that time, they were acquiring ounces in the ground, and then they went through 3 different management changes these last 12 years. And the current strategy is to buy operating gold mines. So I don't think they were that concerned about the price. They wanted to make sure that they got stock instead of cash, because they know that we're very good at what we do, and that the stock would give them more than the $6 million face value that we paid them.
Yeah, that's for sure true. When we're coming to the production numbers, the production numbers looks more from the strategy from last year, that you are in surviving mode. So when you think we'll see then hopefully next year that move through the growth strategy again?
Sure. The 3 operations, by the way, are doing just fine. They're making money. Each of them are making money. The production is stable. It is lower than last year, and the reason for that, very simply, is that one of our survival strategies last year was to try and push the throughput of the operations at El Cubo to try and get some more economies of scale, pushing more tons through the plant to get a lower cost per ton. It worked to a certain extent, but not enough. And so when we decided to take El Cubo down to care and maintenance in January, we started the slowdown in the first quarter. Well, by June, it was clear that we were into a completely different market, and the slowdown to care and maintenance was no longer a smart move. So we changed our minds at the end of June and started moving the production at El Cubo back up. So the first 3 quarters of this year, the production definitely has been lower than last year, but the profits have been much higher. And that's because of our costs being lower, and also because of the metal prices being higher. We will see all 3 operations over the next year or so bring their operations back up to the plant capacities. At Guanaceví, we're close. We're about 20% from the plant capacity. At Cubo, we're about 25% from the plant capacity. Bolañitos is about 50% from the plant capacity. So at each of the operations, we do have room, and our team is dedicated to trying to increase the production. Usually that's a function of the mine development, getting the tunnels into the ore body to generate more tons, and that's what's going on right now.
I can remember me one of the last interviews what you done, and at this time you are still in surviving mode. So you say also you test some new operation ideas. So what's happened with this new technologies?
So one of the things that we've been trying and still are trying at El Cubo is testing of an optical scanning technology. Where it was developed in the diamond business, and we're trying to adopt it for gold. It's been slower than we'd hoped. We had hoped to have some results, definitive results by now. We still have results that aren't quite good enough. In April, May, we did the first bulk test, and we got about 86% performance. But to make it a commercial technology, we need about 90 to 92% performance. In other words, we're losing too much ore through the scanning and the sorting, and we need to get better than 90% of the ore recognized and sent to the mill. So we're still working on that. There are different variations to the technology that are being tried at this time, but we're no longer in a rush. I mean, we were earlier this year, we were in a rush to try and reduce our costs at Cubo. As it turns out, we were successful at reducing our costs in other ways, primarily by increasing the grade to the plant and reducing the waste to the plant through better geological sampling underground. And we replaced our entire sampling team in the first quarter of this year, and the results since that time have been spectacular. And El Cubo actually generated the most free cash flow of all the 3 mines in the third quarter. Amazing.
Yeah, last year you think that is your problem? or your big problem now is you make your most profit on it. So time is changing. Okay, what's the plan for next year?
Well, of course, I mentioned that we have a 3-year plan to build 3 new mines and grow our production by 50%. So next year will be the, first of all, in January, the release of the pre-feasibility study on Nähere. Nähere will be our 5th mine, and we'll start the construction next year for commercial production in late 2018. We'll also be releasing in January the preliminary economic assessment of our recently acquired El Compass mine in Zacatecas. And because it's smaller and it's already permitted and there's already a plant, that one will actually be our 4th mine. It'll be developed in the first half of the year and come to production in the second half of next year. So El Compass will be in production in 2017, end of 2017. Nähere, which has the potential to become both our largest and lowest cost mine, will come to production in the last half of 2018. And Peral, which we just acquired in September, has a chance to come to production anytime in 2018 or 2019. It depends how much time we take on El Compass and Nähere, because we want to use the same people at Peral, and if they're busy, then we'll just wait on Peral.
Okay. Coming to the market, you said before we are now in a correction. What is your general view on the market?
Well, I think the correction still has some weeks to go. I mean, we've had the first bottoming and the first bounce. I think there'll be a retest of the recent bottom, and whether it holds or breaks down a little bit doesn't really matter. I think it'll probably hold. So what were we talking about? $17.50 in silver, and what was gold on the low? $12.50ish, something like that. So I think once we get through the U.S. election, which is only 3 weeks away, then there'll be greater clarity on not only the broader markets, but gold and silver. Why? Because there's a tremendous amount of cash on the sidelines right now, waiting to see whether we have President Clinton or President Trump. If it's President Clinton, I think that cash will quickly come off the sidelines, maybe even before the election, when the polls show that Clinton is leading. And so I think the broader stock markets will get stronger. But gold and silver will come along. They'll finish their correction and start moving again, I think. And longer term, a Clinton presidency is also good for silver and gold, because she is a classic democratic tax and spend type administration, and that can only be bad for U.S. debt, probably bad for European and Japanese and Chinese debt, and good for hard assets. So I think that gold and silver will resume this third leg of a 3-leg cycle. You know, we started this in 2001. The second leg was finished in January of this year. Now we have just started the third leg. It usually is the most volatile.
Okay.
So that's my view on gold and silver. There's
how long
much stronger prices in the U.S. dollar terms, but also in euro terms, and several years, 3, 4, 5 years, to culminate the next phase of U.S. dollar weakness is really what we're talking about.
Brad, thank you for the update. Next time, hopefully January, we see us again.
I see you in January.
Ja, war ein Update zu Endeavour Silver. Die Company oder die Story hat sich ja total geändert. Die letzten Interviews, was ich gemacht habe, bis auf das im Juni, war ja noch, wo sie im Survival-Mode waren. Das heißt, da ist ja darum gegangen, wie kann man die Company so weit absichern oder die Kosten so weit senken, dass sie auch bei dem niedrigen Silberpreis einen Profit machen. Das hat sich total geändert. Sie haben mittlerweile 2 Projekte akquiriert. Das 3. Projekt haben sie selber ja schon gehabt, wo sie sehr hochgradig und auch hochgradige Silber und auch Tonnagen gehabt haben. Das könnte ihre 5. Mine werden, die aber auch die größte wird. Sie haben jetzt einen 3-Jahresplan, wo sie diese 3 Development-Projekte in Produktion bringen wollen. Er hat ja selber gesagt, nächstes Jahr wird das eine Projekt, das sie im Mai akquiriert haben, auf den Markt kommen. Dann wird 2018 die nächste Mine kommen, und die 3. Mine weiß man noch nicht genau, wann sie kommt, weil sie wollen die Teams verwenden, die diese 2 Minen hochziehen für die 3. Mine. Und ja, Deswegen schaut dann natürlich die Company ganz anders aus, von 3 Minen produzierende auf 6 Minen, ganz eine andere Dimension. Was interessant ist, ist auch, dass er gesagt hat, wie sich teilweise die Sachen geändert haben. Also nicht nur, dass zum Beispiel Kubo, wo sie das Problemkind war der letzten Jahre, ist mittlerweile zur Cash-Cow geworden, zum größten Profitbringer. Grund ist ganz einfach, weil sie halt einfach ihre Arbeit optimiert haben. Und was sie jetzt noch machen, das sieht man jetzt in die Zahlen. Die Zahlen zeigen jetzt nur die Arbeiten an, die sie im Survival-Mode gehabt haben. Und erst jetzt langsam wird dann wieder die Strategieänderung, die sie im Juni vorgenommen haben, zum Wachstum sichtbar werden. Also 4. Quartal und nächstes Jahr wird wieder deutlich besser, weil sie einfach ihre Anlagen wieder hochfahren, dass sie fast zu 100% ausgelastet sind. Interessantes Update, Endeavour, wissen wir, hat den höchsten Hebel zum Silberpreis, zumindest in den letzten Jahren. Das heißt, wenn Sie glauben, dass der Silber nach oben geht, ist Endeavour Silver immer eine sehr gute Wahl. Ja, das war's von Endeavour Silver, Bradford Cooke, Oktober 2016. Tschüss.
Thank you. Thank you.